CO2.
Hey, this is your girl Taylor Lane from the Sugar&Spite podcast, and this is the Carbon Ops Rawcast.
You are experiencing the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. Let's begin.
That's right. And you ain't said it no better. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody. You are rocking with the greatest in this whole freaking realm of podcasting. This is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast, and I'm your boy, Diggy Jones.
Of course, it's your dude, the merciless Reese L. Black.
Good evening, Mr. Black.
Man, that's how I start everything. I've noticed patterns about myself as I watch these shows back, so I'm trying not to fall into the same traps. But fuck it, man. We got a great episode today. We got a dope feature that is coming on later on in the fixins. But right now, I don't care. But I'm sure somebody out there cares. What do we got today? And I know you don't care section.
Well, let's see. Well, I know you don't care, but look, this has to be addressed. And shout out to advice from a F boy. You guys will, be able to know what I'm talking about. Advice from a fuck boy. Shout out to you on Instagram. He actually made a post, a couple, way back when. And so I want to address it. And of course, the chick's name is going to show if you post it or whatever. We don't care. But This is not to throw a shot. But this was just an awakening. It says, this man texts me. Thank you for showing me what it feels like to be loved. I can't wait to make you my wife someday. It's gay shit like that makes me want to cheat.
Wow. That's disappointing.
And in that pose, he just basically asked, so what kind of fuck girl shit is this, ladies? Explain your sis. Okay, now look, this is where this actually gets interesting because, for years, moms, grandmas, auntie, all y'all, you guys mostly told us that it's okay to cry. That it's okay to express our feelings, because moms want us, always wants to know what's wrong with us, what's on our mind. So we get that. So yeah, they want us to tell them that. But the thing is this, after that, they follow up with, don't be afraid of expressing yourself about how you really feel to anybody. We said, okay. And then we text this girl and told her how we felt. And we got penalized.
This is why the game gets fucked up. Yes. I'm always, the one harping go team women and all that stuff.
I am too.
But this time, you are too.
I love you, ladies. We love y'all,
but sometimes you got to tell the truth. Like that shit is disappointing. You know why that's disappointing? Is because people love to put us in a position of choosing what we need to be as men, right? Like they want to tell us, all right, men need to get in tune with their feminine side. Men need to show more emotion. Men need to start crying more. Men need to start doing all this other stuff.
The new masculinity. They wasn't Pharrell on the cover of that shit crying with a yellow dress on.
Grooming themselves and doing all this extra stuff like that media is trying to make men into the new man. And then as soon as people buy into that shit, you get stuff like this. Because there are people out there who say, oh, you're not a real man if you cry. You're not a real man if you groom yourself. You're not a real man if you don't, buy me food when we go out on a first date or open the door for me and all this. This conflicting, shit is the reason why, one, everybody is so confused and everybody is so angry because you're pitting people against each other right off the bat with that. What do you want? what do you want? Do you want us to be men or do you want us to be, it depends on the day, it sounds like, right? Like you want us to cater to this or do you want us to be real with our feelings? That's what I have a problem with that. I don't get what they want.
Okay, now let's do what we do. Let's go glitch. Let's peel back some of these layers. Would she say that shit about a man that she actually likes? Yeah, so now the thing is this, obviously when I see this, maybe they're together, or maybe they decided to be, exclusive. That's what it looks like. I don't know. But for a guy to only just say something like that to like a chick that he just like had a couple dinner dates with, it's kind of odd.
Yeah,
it's very, very, very odd. But let's just say, it's somebody that let's just say they've been kicking it for like, fuck, I just realized what this is. Let's just say they met in November.
Okay.
This guy got her the Christmas gift. Gave her the New Year's Eve Zoom kiss or whatever, because it was quarantine. And then got her the Valentine's Day gift. Spring break is here. Yeah. Now he caught feelings. Look how long it is. That's 3 months.
Yeah.
Now he caught feelings and let out the bag and thought that she was gonna grab onto that when she was just like, nah, this is what shit like this makes me want to cheat. But it's like, okay, so he appreciates you because something about you allowed him to open up. And now her reaction, shit like this makes me want to cheat. When a man opens up to me, I want to cheat now. This is...
She simp mode him. You had a good point. Yeah, she did. You had a good point about the fact that she probably really isn't into him, right off the bat, because you're right. Like a girl's most
Drake say this shit all the time in his songs, and ain't nobody said shit.
Right, yeah. You're not gonna do that with somebody that you actually find, attractive or you're interested in. And you wouldn't blast it either. So yeah, okay, you may feel that way. You may not really like him like that, and then he does that, and you're like, yeah, why are you being so sensitive or whatever? Why blast it though? Why put it on, social media like that though? Now you're sending out a message to the rest of the people out there that this is not okay. And now it's turning into,
it's a war.
Right. It's turning into a war. And you like, for all these people that get upset with guys who have these channels and stuff and get opinionated about, women, like this stuff does not help.
No,
right?
That's the trigger.
This is what fuels the fire. So like, I know people be in their feelings, and sometimes maybe it's just they just like to say some smart shit to get like people's attention.
Maybe.
But that stuff is dangerous, man, because that makes all like healthy communication break down. Like you're cut off at that point. You've chosen your side now. So anybody who watches that post or reacts to that post is going to be forced to pick a side to be with you or against you at that point. That's why I don't like that type of toxic shit. Like just be, if you have something that you feel about that person, why would you do that with that person? Don't put it on social media. Because now it's our business too. And we got a problem with that.
Yeah, because over here, we y'all know us. This, we the good dudes. You know what I mean? And what I say about them good dudes, we don't take shit from nobody. Right. We hold ourselves accountable. We are about nation building. We are about long-term relationships and that generational wealth. We can't talk about generational wealth unless we talk about long-term commitments.
Yep.
We can't. And then we have this right here. I mean, this right here, to me, when we psychoanalyze it, it's like, okay, she don't like this guy. Right. She ain't gonna say that to like the guy that she actually likes.
Right.
The problem is, why is the penalty cheating? You didn't say shit like this that makes me want to dip, drop you, go ghost.
Right.
So the question is answered. This guy has something because you said cheat, and you can't cheat unless you're in a relationship.
Right.
So you're with this guy.
That's a great point.
And now you want to go basically get another dude on the side.
Right.
To do what?
Right.
Say you ain't shit?
So does that mean what? So now we've broken down. You're either lazy because you don't want to break off this thing. You just want to kind of be in it, but you don't have any problem talking shit about the dude. Or you're manipulative because you want to use him for whatever it is that he can provide you for, but you don't have any real respect for the guy, obviously, because you posted this, or you just an evil person, you know what I mean? Because who would either
all of the above?
Yeah, it's probably all of the above with some stuff like this. And in the grand scheme of things, I mean, we're talking about it, but to be honest, I'm not that surprised because I see a lot of dumb shit like this on social media anyway. But that's what I'm saying. It's fuel for a fire that you don't want. right? You don't want this war, right? You don't want us to be talking stupid, obviously, because anytime somebody comes out with a channel talking, like this, see how many people, talk about Kevin Samuels and his opinions or whatever, but he's blowing up. Why? Because he spits his facts based off of some people's personalities like this.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, what do you want, man? Do you want war or do you want peace? And if you want peace, stop with this shit. Let's just talk and have respectable we can respect each other without and not agree. Even if we don't agree on certain topics, we can still respect each other. But when you start posting shit like this, talking about this is why I want to cheat and all that stuff, those are war words, man, and you know that. So yeah, I just don't respect.
But I will, I will give him this. Yeah, he did make a big no. It's like you express through text. And that's what y'all young cats do now. Y'all be texting girls like, I miss you and I just want to be with you and only you. I want to make you. See, now she done, put it on blast. This is what they do. Yeah. Instead of what you're actually supposed to be doing is you're supposed to basically be doing, show your love through action. Like if a woman knows that you like them by what you do. Like, dang, you called and told me good morning. You must like me. Yeah, little stuff like that. Right. It's like you express it through action, but if you keep on, maybe this was more than once too. Maybe he banged her with one of these as well to the point where it's like, okay, this dude is soft. But this is what's interesting. Your grandfather probably did the same thing to your grandma. Your dad probably did the same thing to your mom. This chick ain't got no daddy. But your daddy probably did the same thing to your mom.
That jab was clever.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I had to sneak that one in because I'd be damned because the thing is, I got a son and I would hate for him to hold these. There's nothing wrong with expressing, that you love someone. And yeah, I'm going to have to go there too. Of course, a whole bunch of people in the manosphere would agree with that shit, but you can express it through action, but no, you don't have to keep on banging it up in her head or through a text message, just as far as just trying to keep her. Because no, that girls don't get kept by that kind of stuff.
Right.
You come off needy, you come off soft, the whole sex appeal is done. You look sexy through action, like popping up at her job random on a random day and like, I want to take you to lunch. Come on. That's sexy. That's what makes them like you. You're being unpredictable. Obviously, she probably saw this coming because all the actions he did, like take her out to dinner, got her hella gifts on Christmas and Valentine's Day. Yeah. And now look, let's go back to the part where she said, makes me want to cheat. And when you talked about the war, there is no war. The war is done. You lost. Right. No, you guys lost because I'm like this. Okay, if you guys are putting stuff out like this on social media, and some of you guys have been going on TikTok talking about why wouldn't I get rid? Why would I get rid of you? You're a simp. You pay for my stuff. You take me out. You give me non-sexual, free attention. Shout out to ARC. Why would I get rid of you? Yeah. And so, I'm going to have this other guy here be the opposite where I could just get the D. I like this dude and yada yada. I'm just going to keep you because I got bills for you. Yeah. So now when we talk about the war, when this man leaves you for Becky or Marisol or what Kevin Samuels was saying, Maylene, when he doesn't want to mess with sisters anymore. So war, you lost. Yeah, you're alone because everybody sees this. Man, what's Tom Hanks' son? Did he get smacked up by a sister?
Really?
Yeah, Tom Hanks' son got smacked up on a sister. He recorded the whole thing.
Oh wow!
And now you have that action, which makes you even look worse. And looking at the picture, maybe that is like a light skinned sister. I don't know what she is, but still, they're going to equate that. They're going to go on to something that makes them happier, safe. And somebody appreciates those sweet nothings all the time. Right. And you're going to be left being on social media talking about, let me tell y'all something. See, this dude is weak. He couldn't handle what I said, so he just broke up with me and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, see, now go ahead back to talk to social media. He moved on. He's married. He got the babies. You're still on social media. So war, y'all lost. And I love the ladies. I love y'all.
Of course.
But y'all be shooting yourselves in the foot.
Right, and that's the point is what is it that you want? This post like this is only going to, fuel the fire more. So if you really want, to get guys to, understand, and come to a form of us both understanding each other. Like they say, you can't, if you want to catch a bear, it's better. You're gonna catch a bear better with honey than you are with, something toxic, right? Like it's the same thing. In order for you to get a man's attention and to really make things right, you need to have more sugar than spite, right? And just like that, I have led a segue into our guest that we've got in Fixins.
Oh, wow, I didn't even...
Did you see it coming? Nobody saw it coming, but I just heard the word sugar We got a dope guest that is coming up in the Fixins. She is, very, very intelligent, very beautiful, very cool, just all the above. And I might add, the homie Reese, when we come back, will let you know how he feels about her podcast. I'm not even going to tell you. It is surprising. So stick with us. The CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. We will be right back. All right. Thank you. We are back once again. You are rocking with the team. This is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. And today, I love the and today, because that means we've got a very special guest in the building. What can we say about this guest? I mean, you're going to be the one saying a lot, but I want to just preface really quick. We don't put people on this show by accident. We put people who we believe are multi-talented, who are doing, I'll always say big things. So I'm just going to say big things, and are very, intelligent. And we got that today. So get ready. We're going to do our intro. We're going to introduce her because, she is deserving of it. So this is our special edition of The Fixins.
Greetings and welcome to the CO2's featured edition of The Fixings. With special guest, the ever-charismatic Taylor Lane. A talented podcaster, Taylor is the host of the highly addictive Sugar&Spite podcast. Let's begin.
Yeah. We are in the Fixins. I will let you take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we on the bullshit today, y'all. We are totally on the bullshit today. Like, I know we've been on some bullshit before, but this is like, first level ELE bullshit shit today. Grade A bullshit. Prime cut bullshit. Yeah. Today, our special guest hails out of New Orleans by way of Houston. She is also the host of my favorite podcasts today. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Say that again, because this is the first. What did you just say?
My favorite podcast to date.
Wow.
I listen to a lot of y'all motherfuckers, and I like a lot of y'all motherfuckers, but I have a top 5, and there's one that sits on this top. One what I throw on the notification bell. I love all of y'all. I do.
Man.
But there's this one individual where I'm like, where the fuck is her shit at?
This apple cider don't seem special enough now. Like, we need something else.
So real talk. She is here with us today. I like to call her the sass of podcasts. She got a mouth on her, which is very fitting for our show today because y'all know this is the freaking Rawcast. Yes. So I'm actually going to say something here. I don't never really say. Well, actually, I do say, but I say it on our other special. Please raise your motherfucking glasses.
Hey.
To the one and only, the Taylor Lane. Welcome to the Fixins.
Yo,
what's up, baby?
Hey, y'all. I'm so glad that y'all are having me on this podcast. I'm really excited. To be here.
I mean, did you feel the gas? Like that was some good old fashioned gas.
That was great. Like you really just hyped me up, man.
Yeah.
This is what I do. This is what I do.
How you doing, Taylor? Thank you for being on the show. How you doing today?
Man, I'm great. I'm hungover. Actually, I don't even know if I'm hungover, if I'm just slightly still buzzed from last night. It's one of the two, but I'm honestly feeling good. Like,
That's what I'm talking about. This is the first person that's come on the show hungover and don't give a shit. I love that.
Bro, this bullshit.
Yeah.
The girl was fucking drunk. She was just trying to say hangover. No. The girl is
Yeah, because
gone.
honestly, like, I don't have a headache and I don't feel sick, so I guess that's not a hangover. Maybe I'm just still buzzed.
Like, she's still dumb, but it's all good.
It's all good.
Welcome to the show. Yo, and before we actually just jump into it, you know what? Let the people know. Sugar and Spice podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you can give it one word, how would you describe your show for the people that don't know you?
In one word, dang, that's a good question. I feel like in one word, you kind of said it, sass. Because I kind of just take any regular topic that probably a lot of podcasts might already be covering it, but I give it my own, like, I'm not afraid to just go balls to the walls of my opinion and just say stuff that I know a lot of people probably won't agree with. But so maybe sass.
So I got one word. I would actually say unpredictable, and that is a compliment because what I like about your show, Taylor, we talked about this, like, you know, there's only certain people that I actually find like funny, like, and I know you don't even be trying to be, but your podcast is hilarious, man. You even said, like, you know, a lot of the stuff that you've been through in your past experiences, like the pain and the things that you've been in your past experiences have kind of shaped your humor, shaped your personality.
Oh, for sure.
You said something about how, like, you don't trust people who ain't been through nothing or something like that. Like,
yeah, bro. Like, how do you have a personality for real if you just like had a healthy upbringing?
Right. So my question really for you is, like, do you think that is what is the point, the moment that sparked you to say, okay, knowing this and knowing these thoughts that are in my head, like, other people might want to hear about this, maybe I should start a podcast?
So honestly, it was that, like, I would talk, or sometimes I would do rants on my Instagram stories and stuff, because I'm also really passionate about social justice and things like that. And sometimes I would just be talking to people and I look and they're like bent over laughing. And I'm like, yo, I'm dead ass. Like, what do you like? I'm just talking. And so that's when I realized, like, I have this like ability to like maybe bring light to situations that aren't even supposed to be light.
Yeah.
And also I started the podcast because it was kind of in the midst of this crazy ass election with Trump going on, like this huge production of this media. The media was covered with Black men getting shot and police brutality, and we were in the midst of a quarantine, and it was just like so much heaviness going on. And I realized that everything that I was putting my time into were things that were required of me. So like I was doing things like all my time was going towards either school or work, but I wasn't taking any time to just do something that I enjoyed, that wasn't a requirement. So that's when I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start this podcast because I love to talk. And I think it would be a good way to challenge myself. I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't know anything about like audio or audio editing and marketing. So it was just like a cool way to challenge myself in a time when I kind of felt like I was not really being challenged. So
that's dope. Wow.
Perfect.
All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. What we talking about today?
Okay, now that we're done being serious, now let's go ahead and get stupid.
Okay.
let's go.
All right. So let us revisit OnlyFans. So not too long ago, Bad Barbie just hit 1.6 million hours after registering on OnlyFans. And so we all remember when Bella Thorne, she actually hit 2 million when she just pretty much got on there for like her first 48. So now, get your bag. Nothing wrong with that. You do your thing, get your money, get your bag. We don't care about that shit. But for the men out there, when you hear that many people subscribe, on the low, are some of these men in relationships, are they married? Is it cheating if I subscribe to OnlyFans? Is it low key? What is your opinion on that?
So I think it's cheating if you're hiding it, because if you're hiding it, then obviously you know there's something problematic about it. I think that every relationship has different boundaries. So like some people wouldn't give a fuck, some people would. I personally, I don't think I would care. Like I don't think I would care if my man was, I don't care that if he's looking at other women. For me, it's just like, I feel like the whole attraction to OnlyFans that people like so much is that it's an alternative to porn that feels more realistic because it's like a real person that's like really in their space. Like you go on porn and it's like a lot of acting and it's not very authentic and all of that. And then, so that's why I feel like OnlyFans has become so huge because it's like, oh no, this is the girl next door who just had her phone propped up and it's showing me her titties. And so like, I feel like that's why a lot of men are into it, which is kind of weird for me. And also for me, it's more like you really spending $12.99 a month, nigga. Like, is it that deep? Like, just go on X and X.
That is like the base level, bro. Just so you know, it's
right. That's what I'm saying. It's really more of a money thing for me. Like, you're so pressed that you're about to spend money, but like, I don't know. I guess I don't think it's necessarily cheating just automatically. I think that if you're open about it with your partner and like they really don't mind, then it's not. But if you're hiding it from them and concealing it, then I think that that's wrong. And that goes for a lot of things, really.
You know what? This is what's interesting about it because we actually spoke about this on our IGTV Rawclusive. DJ, you know, he made the point: if you're tricking, like if you're messing with prostitutes or whatever. That can be a problem because you're actually spending money on the chick. You know, you're basically you're taking away a resource. So you and I, okay, Taylor, you and I are together. We have rent. I'm short this month, so it's gonna have to come on you. You're going to be like, why are you short this month? You've been fine since all these other times, but you didn't put math. You know, you probably didn't know about the math. Like, how come this motherfucker is short? When Bad Barbie went on OnlyFans all of a sudden. Like, of course you're not going to be doing it.
Honestly, if my nigga is watching Bad Barbie's OnlyFans, we're breaking up on the spot. Like, just the fact, no. That
Didn't she just turn 18 like 2 seconds ago? Like, or something like that?
She that young?
Everything about her existence fucking irks me. Like,
go in!
You take a white woman and add some black vernacular and all of a sudden she's popping. Like, that's literally the worst thing ever. Ever happened. Like, you know. So she literally got famous for being disrespectful to her parents. Like, that's like peak white woman shit.
That's true.
So that's the only. So what if it was like, I don't know who like, let's say it was like, you know, Sierra. She goes on OnlyFans. So if
I would probably subscribe.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. So if he breaks like $50 a month to like see her, you know, like you just said, I guess they do like personal whatever and whatever. It's one-on-one, and he's like subscribing $50 a month. You're going to give him a pass for that shit.
If he's not making rent, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Like if you are spending money on OnlyFans, then you need to be balling. Like, you need to be spoiling me. Like, you're not about to be taking away from the resources that you're giving to me as your girlfriend to be watching some other bitch on OnlyFans. Like, absolutely not. So I mean, if you got it like that, then that's fine. Like, if you really balling and it's just like chump change to watch OnlyFans, then that's one thing. But if you are really like, oh, we can't go out to dinner tonight because that $50 I already spent on watching this bitch clap her cheeks on OnlyFans, like, no, we're gonna have an issue for sure.
So that brings up a good point because there is a parallel to that OnlyFans scenario with YouTube Super Chat. So there are a lot of like, I've seen a lot of like females on YouTube that do the whole Super Chat thing, and guys like tip out to these girls like. Almost like it's a war on who's got who can drop the most money on them, and they not even showing nothing, of course, right? Like, but it's just like it's an ego thing. It's like, oh yeah, who could drop more money? So on OnlyFans, you know, like some guys just drop money just because they, like you said, they feel as though this is a model that they could actually attain at some point, and by dropping all this money, okay, maybe I can get their attention. So you're right. I would think if your man is subscribed to somebody and you see his bank account is getting low off of this stuff, that may be a red flag right away. He may be, you know, interested in something else.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
You had something pretty cool on your podcast where I guess you were answering questions of fans, and one fan had a scenario where they wanted to check on their ex's new girl, and she had an OnlyFans account. And she went on there and actually subscribed to the OnlyFans account.
Paid for it. Yeah.
That's crazy. What was
crazy?
Give us a little bit for the listeners who don't know, like a summary of that scenario.
Taylor, was that really you or was you bullshit? No, I'm just fucking with you.
No, yeah. So this girl, I actually I actually know this girl kind of personally.
Wow.
Like she didn't send it anonymously, but she sends in a listener letter essentially saying that her and her mans are like usually like an on and off couple, but this time it's been a little different. They're actually pretty broken off, and she found out that he was fucking with another girl. And so she started doing their typical woman shit where we start like investigating and pulling up all types of documents that we shouldn't even be able to find or whatever. And she comes across her IG, and she's like this really beautiful girl. She has an OnlyFans. So she goes to look at her OnlyFans, and obviously she can't see any of the content without paying. So she pays for it. And obviously afterwards she was sick because like this girl was beautiful, and she's like, I think even at one point there was like actual videos of them fucking like on the OnlyFans
of
like,
her ex and her
ex and the new girlfriend fucking on the OnlyFans. Yeah. And so she was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know how to cope with this. And I was like, girl, like you're tripping. Like I even said, cause like I'm actually a psych major. So like my original plan was to actually go into therapy, ironically. And so I told her, I said, this kind of seems like, self-harm, you know, because like self-harm can come in a lot of more ways than we usually talk about. And I said, you know, the way that you like knew what you were quite literally knew what you were signing up for and paid money to see something that you knew was going to hurt you. I was like, yeah, like sis, you gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself, because that was never going to go anywhere healthy. And
that brings up a whole nother spin. I mean, like to subscribe to something like that and then actually see your ex with the person, like, I mean, you got to be scarred for life. I got to imagine.
Yeah, crazy. You're never going to forget.
I don't know, because you know, it can also go the other way. Okay, I'm telling on myself. Some girls are actually can get turned on by it, you know, knowing that their man is actually smashing somebody, and you being a psych major, which is fucking funny.
Yeah, right.
That's like Kevin Samuels being a psych major and shit. Like, goddamn, like great Taylor in now, Kevin. But yeah, that's what it's like, because it's like, you know, because that's happened. I don't know how many times, you know, I was with my ex, you know, because I used to live in Houston actually, and she would every time we watch a show, she will always just be like, out of nowhere, you smashed that, won't you? I'm like, God, really?
Yeah, I had a guy that I like really liked. And one day, like he hit me up, and like I think he's here in New Orleans, and I was in Houston at the time, and he was like, "Yo, like, do you have any like videos of you and your ex fucking? Like, send them to me."
Wow.
And I was like,
wow.
I didn't know what to think, because I was just like, why? I guess my thought process behind it was like, I want you to be more territorial of me. Like, I want you to be jealous of seeing me having sex with someone. And the fact that like you like it is like, I don't know. It just, he was so open about it. He was just like, yeah, send me that shit. And I was like, no, I don't have videos. I was actually annoyed.
I think what it is in some cases like that is where, you know, of course, a man wants to know what you're working with. But then to see another man, you know, smash... You know,
that should not make you feel good.
You know, you're right, but it's close to pornography. You know,
some people are really on that cuckold type.
That's cuckolding shit. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, do you? I don't kink shame, but I was definitely like, dang, like you're not even like a little bit salty. Like,
I mean, because you know what? That's actually a good sign, because you know that just shows like, you know, he probably just knows his self-worth. You know, at that point, and probably just like, okay, I'm telling on myself again. Me, I would never do anything like that, but I pretty much have an idea. Like when girls want to drop a body count, only slept with like 5 guys. You know, I usually say 15 in my head or whatever. It's like I'm already there and I don't care. You know, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a grown ass nigga, there's absolutely no reason. I actually have this very strict rule. I just hate the conversations of body count because it's actually so irrelevant. Because the thing is, like, say my body count is 5, but I've fucked all 5 people unprotected. Well, then that's more concerning than if my body count is 20 and I fucked all of them with protection. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it seems like a very childish thing to ask, and also you're almost never going to get an accurate answer, so it's kind of pointless to ask.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. It's like, what is the point?
Yeah, and then it's also always used as a tool to shame women. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, for women, it's like you have to have this like low, minuscule number, and then men can be in the freaking 3 digits, and it's like, oh, you got clout. Like, so it's just, I hate the body count conversation. But no,
like we gotta grow up. Like people be fucking.
Yeah.
Like that's just what. Like, do we not know that?
I'm in this class. It's called evolutionary psychology.
Right.
And like evolutionarily, we are literally meant to be on this earth fucking and eating berries all day.
Right,
So like, you're not about to make me feel bad about this shit, bro. Like, you're just not.
Right.
You're just. But no, back to the other thing. Like,
Fucking and eating berries. That is hilarious.
like literally, that's our purpose. And I'm just so mad that us humans fucked that one thing up. Like, we could just be out here chilling.
Right.
And out here paying bills and shit. Like, that's so annoying. But my ex-boyfriend was super like secure, but it was too secure. Like, it annoyed me. Like, he was too nonchalant about stuff to the point where it like got to where I was like, are you not worried about another nigga like stepping in? Because it almost came across to me like, oh, she not going nowhere. And it's like, hold on, nigga, like, don't get complacent.
Right.
You know, so like, I feel like I have a thing about like, I want my man to be secure for sure. It's actually like one of the most attractive qualities to me. But when I don't want you to be so secure that you're not worried about losing me. Because I feel like the second that happens, that's the second things get boring, things get complacent, things lose passion.
Yeah.
So like, I still want you to be protective of me. You know, I still want you to like feel like slightly territorial over me as the same way I would for him. So like, that's the thing. I think that's why it made me feel some type of way when he asked me for a video with my ex. I was like, dang, like, I want you to feel a little bit jealous because that shows me that like, you really fuck with me, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I can actually speak on that, you know, so, you know, because I was like that, you know, but I didn't get like that until I like hit my 30s or whatever. That's because, you know, I pretty much had like plenty of fish in the sea, you know, mentality, you know, the abundance mindset. It's like, well, if I pulled you, I could pull another one. Until I got older. And then, when individuals like yourself say something like, damn, you don't desire me. You're not making me feel like a lady. You just feel like I could just go get another one. Question was, Taylor, at that time, what were you bringing to the table for him to keep you? Now, the thing is this, you're in school and you're probably a badass killing the classes. Now, if I knew you were like a dope ass tutor, you were the one gaming me up on how to pass this test and all that shit, it's like, oh no, I'm keeping Taylor. Like, she good at math and I suck at math, you know, she can help me out. You can actually now have value. Now, so at that time when y'all are together, you know, what did you bring to the table physically or mentally?
I was literally a tutor.
Wow.
Like, I literally am a tutor. I am a 4.0 student. I went to Emory University. I'm Greek. Like, I did an internship at city council. Got a law apprenticip in Scotland. So
Bars,
I'm bringing all types of shit to the table for sure. I'm pretty smart.
Fellas, we got another one for you. So all y'all out there on that bitches ain't shit and they ain't bringing nothing to the table and they can't think and they all look what we got. We found them, and we keep finding them every time.
Niggas say that, but it's like, when niggas say that, you're really just telling on yourself about the standards that you expect in women, because they're out there. They're everywhere.
Exactly.
Like, when you out here saying, oh, women expect you to pay for everything and they're all gold diggers, it's like, you're showing your own ass about who you're hanging around. Because all my bitches are accomplished, period. All people in my circle, they're going places. So when men say that, they're really just telling on themselves, in my opinion.
You know what's funny? Kevin Samuels told y'all to stay away from them psych majors.
I be making niggas so mad, bro.
I bet you do.
Even my own father gets so annoyed with me because I'll be like, actually, that's what we would call cognitive dissonance. And psycho. And he's like, bro, stop
it. Yeah, that's funny. All right, that was dope. We are going to take a quick break because Taylor needs to make a t-shirt that says fucking and berries. So when she does that, we will come back and then we will start with another topic, which is dating too young. So stick with us, fam. This has been great so far. We will be back. CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. See you in a second. All right, we are back and we are in the business. This is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. We are with our featured guest, Taylor from Sugar&Spite. And Taylor, when we left, we were talking about a really cool topic about OnlyFans. I think we could always talk about OnlyFans.
Yeah, we can do that every day.
We can have a whole episode on that alone.
Right, yeah. But let's spin it a little bit and get into something that I think a lot of people have kind of issue with. And I want to pose a question to you. We want to talk about the age range of dating and what is appropriate. So you see a lot of scenarios with a gentleman with salt and pepper hair, and he's
You talking about Lionel Richie?
driving in his red Corvette and going to pick up somebody who just looks like she came out of third period with a backpack and her suit on. And we always give them the side eye. And I just wonder, for you, do you think there is an age range that is taboo when people are dating?
I do. However, I don't think that the age range can just be applied in general. Like, I don't think you can just say, oh, if you're this many years apart, that's inappropriate. And the reason why I say that is, I think that a lot of men who like to date younger women, which there actually is an evolutionary reason behind that as well. But a lot of men that like to date younger women, it's because of gross reasons. And so I think that it's really the reasoning more than just the age gap. And so, like, if you're doing it because it makes you feel really smart because you've got this young ass bitch that doesn't know anything about life, and so that just makes your muscles feel really big and your dick feel really hard, that's weird. And like, a lot of men do that. Yeah. Or like, they just like this idea of somebody being dependent on them. That's weird. But for me personally, like, I tend to, or I have in the past dated guys that were much older than me, but it's because I'm really mature for my age, and men that are my age are really fucking disappointing. And so
they're supposed to be.
But honestly, the crazy part is the most immature guy that I've ever dated was literally 8 years older than me. He was 27 when I was 20, or 28 when I was 20. And so, like, he literally was the most immature guy that I've ever fucked with. So even saying like, oh, I date older guys because they're more mature is really an overgeneralization that a lot of women don't consider. And I think that the reason why the age gap can be problematic is because there can be a lot of manipulation that goes on. And if you're and if as a woman, if you're not mature enough to be able to identify what manipulation is, because it can come in so many different forms, I think that it can get really problematic because you don't even realize you're getting manipulated until you're in too deep. So yeah, and also like men, there's been men that have tried to date me or take me out and things, and like, I am the same age as their daughters, and like that's I don't know, like, something about that just doesn't sit right with me, because damn well if your daughter was dating someone your age, you would be like disgusted, yet you're turning around and dating someone your daughter's age. So it's just like, it's just a little weird to me, for sure. But I think there's exceptions to everything, Yeah.
All right, so let me go ahead and give my take on it, because I guess I'm the perv. So.
Well, we already knew that.
I mean, trust me, I got a limit. Okay, like, it's interesting because you said that the oldest guy, you pretty much had was still in his 20s. Which to me, it's always been told, like, in the man's world, we're useless before the age of 33. We have no idea what we want. We're not established. Right. 28, 27, we're still living with mom. Some of us are even still in school. We are still playing video games, pretty much like what you experience, But when we push into that mid-30 area, we've been there, done that, and now we actually know what we want. So when we do,
I think that's an overgeneralization too. Because I like, when I say that's the oldest guy I dated, I mean, like, that's the oldest guy that I entertained for a long period of time. But that's not the oldest guy that I've ever, like, gone on a date with or things like that. And a lot of the men that were in their 30s or sometimes even older, mom and dad, please don't listen to this episode. It was like, they were so, like, generally speaking, they would get so irritated whenever I would have knowledge on the subject, or when I would disagree with something and have points. And like, whenever I would be like, the fact that I had a brain pissed them off. And so, like, that they expected because I'm in my 20s for me to be a certain way. When I wasn't, they didn't really want to fuck with me as hard. And so like that kind of goes back to what I was saying. And I really do think that like, yeah, like most men are probably more financially established.
Yeah.
But
mentally,
a lot of men lack self-awareness. They lack the ability to like be open-minded to learning or like other points of view. And so honestly, like, I think that age has like very little to do, especially when you're talking about men. It has very little to do with like how they're going to function in a relationship, because I think it has a lot to do with just us being in a patriarchy. You can be a 50-year-old man and be ignorant and immature and still do really well in life, because it's just the way society is set up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We actually talked about that in one episode where, like, you know, when I was 20 something, like, you could forget it. I might as well have been 16 or whatever. It's like,
that's still young.
You're not prepared. But there are some people, like, I know that maybe they had a hard life or whatever, and like by the time they're 18, they're mature and ready to settle down, that sort of thing. So you're right. It is definitely situational. So then for you, like, what would you, could you see yourself in a scenario where, you know, okay, yeah, this person is, you know, way younger than you or way older than you, you know, at any point in your life, but you guys are equal, almost like emotionally or mentally, you know, to where it's like, okay, this might still work. Or do you actually feel like, okay, no, even if with the chemistry, this isn't going to work for me because this person is 30 years older than me or whatever?
Oh, no. I think that if I fuck with you, I fuck with you, period.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to not date a guy or not pursue a future with a guy simply because I like everything about you, but you're too old. I would definitely never date a guy younger than me, probably more because, like, men already, like, just mature slower than women, and, like, that I shouldn't say never. I just really doubt that I could ever get along with a guy that was younger.
You were right the first time.
I don't see that happening realistically. But no, I would never just not date a guy simply because of his age.
So the reason why I pose that question that way is because I want to delve a little bit deeper into what is society's real issue with that scenario, because, you know, it's easy for us to say, okay, well, they're you know, a wild age range, so there's something that's kind of crazy about that. We all get that, but I really am curious as to where did this start? Who made these rules, and what is it about that scenario when you see somebody who's Hugh Hefner's age dating, you know, rest in peace, Hugh Hefner, by the way, dating somebody who just, you know, turned 18.
That's too young. Let's just say 25 plus.
No, I want to say 18 because
That's too young.
Because that
still in high school.
They just now stopped being a child.
Right.
Like, weird to you?
Right. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Of course, I think that's weird.
Devil's advocate.
But that's why I want to go that extreme, is because I want to understand the root of what is the actual issue with that scenario. Is it because that person just became an adult? Or is it because of the actual range of maturity between the two people? What is the issue?
I think those things are not mutually exclusive. I think it's both. So like for instance, you 18, you're legally an adult, but you have not, generally speaking, like, obviously there's some 18-year-olds that you know, have been through it and have had adult experiences, but generally speaking, you don't know shit about shit. Like, I'm 22 and I still don't know shit about shit. So it's like,
can't even rent a car.
It's weird. It's weird because you're picking someone that is so not on your level, that is so, like, it's so young. Like, they just, and when I say young, I'm not even talking about age, but just like experience wise, like, they don't know anything.
Yeah, they're a clean
and so
slate.
It's like, you're literally doing this, and it just seems like you're picking on someone that's like weaker, like in that sense. Like, you're taking advantage of someone who just doesn't understand what's really happening. Like there were so many things, even though like I was 18, 4 years ago, and there were so many things at 18 that I simply just did not get that I thought I got. You know what I'm saying? And so like going in, I just don't understand how you could be a grown ass nigga and have anything in common with an 18-year-old. You don't, like if you do, that's a problem.
Yo, somebody got
like you should not be able to relate on a romantic level with an 18-year-old.
Yes.
Somebody got married to somebody 18. Was it Marquez Houston?
Did he?
I think that girl is young. Yeah, the dude from Immature. Yeah, he married somebody like 18, 19. They weren't in their 20s, I know that. And then so they were like getting on him, but then again, all the fellas was like, well, she's young. She's perky, you know, she could be like, you know, health-wise when it comes to kids, you know, there's zero risk. But now on the other end, it's like, okay, is this like a manipulation thing? And, you know, manipulation is so dang deep. It's like, I don't know.
It's
Marcus.
so deep. It's so deep and it's so easy to do without even like consciously knowing that you're doing it. And so like, I'm not even trying to, I don't want to minimize how gross it is, but I also don't want to say that like, oh, any guy who's like attracted to like a young woman is like a perv, because I don't think that it's that black and white either. Right. It's just that like, I don't know. I just feel like in order to be in a functioning relationship, you have to be on the same page to a certain extent mentally, and there's just no way in hell that's happening if you're fucking with a 18, 19-year-old. But also I think that I want to disagree with the fact that it's so taboo. Like, I think that it actually goes on a lot and doesn't get spoken about. Like, especially if you look at like for instance, like Jay-Z and Beyonce, like they started dating. I want to say she was in her late 20s. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, she was like late 20s.
No, much younger than that. And he was like older, and like it was like there's so many couples that are actually the man was like substantially older, and like the woman was either a minor or like for instance, Kylie Jenner and Tyga, everybody was just acting like that was fucking normal. And she was 17.
That wasn't right.
And like nobody was really saying shit. Like every once in a while you would hear somebody be like, hey, what the fuck? But then after that, everybody's like, well, anywho, and kept moving. And I'm just like, wait, like I actually would disagree with the fact that it's as taboo as we're talking about it, because I think it actually is really normalized in society.
Well, yeah, I think depending on who you are, you're going to feel one way about it. You're either going to be at this point where you feel like, it's not a big deal, or it's going to be, you know, like you said, completely gross to you. And this is why I wanted to bring this up, because it's a good conversation, and you picked on something that I wanted to kind of get us to, which is that idea of who's taking advantage of who. Yeah. I think that's where a lot of people get really disgusted by that concept, is because they think the older person is taking advantage of the younger person in that situation. I mean, we can always talk, and I like to play devil's advocate because it just makes for good conversation. But if you remember, it wasn't too much long ago where 16 was considered an adult. In some cultures,
Hawaii, it's 14.
14. That's what I'm saying. So some cultures, when you get your
when you bleed,
that's considered adult. Yep. It is completely gross to me, but there are people out there who really buy into that. So that's why I want to clarify. Do we think that it is more the age itself, or it's the fact that you might be taking advantage of a minor, basically?
Yeah, it's definitely the latter for sure. But for me, and like I think that when like the whole concept of saying like at this age you're considered an adult, it's problematic, because like that's just not how adulting works. Like you transition into adulthood. It happens over years of time. Like I would argue that like your 20s is literally you going from a kid to an adult, like that whole time period. But the thing is, like when we talk about like, oh, like in the United States at 18 you're an adult, we're talking about legally, man. Like we're not talking about mentally, cognitively. We're talking, this is the age where like you can make certain decisions for yourself. This is when you can buy your own house. This is when you're allowed to like, you know, get this type of ID or whatever. But it's not saying that this is the age at which you are mature. That's not what that means.
By the way, it's fucking ridiculous that people allow people to just have a car and drive on the road, on the freeway, going 80 miles an hour at freaking 16 to 18. some people like I'm like, are you kidding me? Like you think this person is ready to do that shit? Like,
yeah, and I mean, your brain doesn't even finish developing until around the age of 25.
Yeah.
So it's like if you really want to go by like mental capacity wise, then like really I would argue that you're not an adult till at least 25, 26. But like that's the problem with basing things off laws, because laws are based on money. They're based off of benefits, and they're usually made by straight white men who want to profit from the laws. So like, of course, in certain places, like as soon as you get your period, you're considered an adult because these nasty ass men are trying to fuck. So of course they're going to make that law. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just because it's a law doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's also a lot of places where like, if you have a baby that you can't take care of, you just kill it. You know, like we can't just base things off of laws because it doesn't make it right.
That's why it's great to have Taylor on the show. She's the only guest who would make that point.
Like there's literally places where like women are getting their clits cut off because they feel like women shouldn't experience sexual pleasure. Yeah. So it's like, like laws are one thing, but like moral ethics are a different thing.
Facts. You touched on the point that let me slow this down and get serious for a second, because I posed these questions.
Get serious for a second. This has been serious.
Yeah, it's pretty much been serious. But I posed these questions in a way of like sparking debate. But to be clear, let's be clear about this, because that is something that can be potentially dangerous. Yeah. The reason why people feel the way they feel about this stuff, you know, is there, you know, you've got to validate your feelings. You feel weird about it for a reason. There is a real reason why you feel that way. And it's because of your point. It's too easy for it to be on the side of people being taken advantage of, people being coaxed into stuff that they're not comfortable with, versus it being, oh no, they're just two people of different ages, but they are attracted to each other and they're mentally in the same space.
They accommodate one another.
Right. Yeah. And we don't have all of the information on every relationship to be able to make that decision, right? So more times than not, it's better to just caution on the side of not going there, because it's too easy. I mean, you look at the R. Kelly and Aaliyah scenario and a lot of stuff like that. It's too easy for us to look at it years later and be like, oh shit, no, this was what was happening that whole time. You know, even though she might be saying, or he might be saying, nah, we're good. Like we just, we vibe and we got this connection. You don't know what the real underlying issue of what they're together for is.
Yeah. And you also, like, even as a person in the relationship, a lot of times, like, I've heard so many women be like, I didn't even realize how much it was fucking me up until we were done. And I just reflected back on the situation and realized, like, oh, I got manipulated. Like, I was actually like, this was an emotionally abusive relationship, but didn't even realize till 2 years after we broke up. Yeah. Like, it's a lot of times, like, whenever you're a victim of these situations, most of the time you don't even realize. A lot of the time you may not even realize it in the moment. Right. And so that's why there are these laws about when you can date people and like how old you have to be, because it's like, even when you think you're consenting, even when you are consenting, you're so young, you don't even realize what type of psychological effects this could have on you, which is part of the issue. Yeah.
Dope. Man. Taylor,
it's that bullshit.
It is that bullshit time. You know, unfortunately, we have got to call this a wrap. But man, you really got some great gems in this episode, Taylor. We really appreciate you being on the show. We want to let you know you're doing great things on your podcast. Keep it going. And just for our fan base, can you give them a little bit of like, how can they find you and how can they, get your podcast?
Yeah, so my podcast is Sugar&Spite. I'm on Apple, I'm on Spotify, I'm on Google. You can check out my Instagram at Global Spite, and my email and everything is linked there, so check it out. And I'm just really appreciative that y'all have me on here. I'm definitely trying to have y'all on Sugar&Spite.
Dope.
eventually once I get my shit together.
All
so
right.
We'll be waiting.
definitely looking forward to it.
And then applause for being the first guest that actually Reese gave the seal of approval as his number
Yeah,
one.
man, I'm feeling myself now. I'm definitely feeling myself. I really appreciate it.
I'm hard to please.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I hit her in the DMs early, like, yo, you stood out. Like, I would have waited till like now, but I was like, nah, I gotta let her know, keep it going. Like, the shit was fire. Sometimes some of us, we just need to like sit back and shut up and really listen. Regardless, there's an ego of like, but she's younger than me, I ain't gotta listen to all that shit. I was like, no. If there's a gem, it's for everybody, regardless of the messenger. If there is a message and it's relevant to make your life better or just to solve a fucking problem, listen to the goddamn message, okay? Now quit bullshit and take your asses outside and actually go talk to some of these chicks, all right? Nigga, how can they find you?
Seek wisdom wherever it finds you.
Yes.
That's my motto.
That's it.
For me, you can catch me on Instagram and on Twitter under the title Diggy City. I will tell you, as I always do, I'm almost never on Twitter, but I am going to make it my resolution to start next month and to like post on Twitter. So go ahead and get to that. What about you?
And of course, y'all want to be nosy, you can find me on the gram. Good evening, Mr. Black. Hit me up on Twitter. Evening, Mr. Black, and make sure you follow the show's gram CO2 Rawcast, where of course you get exclusive updates and clips. Make sure you watch our IGTV miniseries CO2 Rawclusive, and make sure you hit us up on Facebook, hit that wall, comment, talk shit, do what it do, give us a smoke, or go ahead and give us a topic. We'll be happy to oblige to talk about it.
Yeah. All right, that is a wrap. To our fans, definitely go to check out Sugar&Spite and you will be better for it. But until next time, this is the CO2 Carbon Ops Rawcast. We will see you then. Peace. Flip side, we out.